What do you think is most important that people know about you and the Digital Maestro?
Sure. So thank you very much. As Dennis said, my name is Paul Taubman. My company is called Digital Maestro. We harmonize your online strategy, and we help small businesses. Basically, we help them make money online, right, with their websites, with their marketing, similar to some of the things that Desiree mentioned that she does. But one of the main things that we do primarily is, a lot of people can make what I call a pretty website, right? But what we do is we make it into a marketing machine that's always working for you. So it's not just another pretty website, and it's constantly getting clients, prospects, getting their information and connecting them to you. So that's what we do. We're located in Somerville, New Jersey. Been in existence for 5 years now, full time. My background is in insurance and IT. So many of you probably are aware that an accountant will go for, the top degree is the CPA. Everybody knows about that. Well, in the insurance world, insurance people, one of the top designations that they go for is called the CPC, or Chartered Casualty Property Underwriter. And even though I was in the IT department, I actually have that designation. I sat there at the time, there were 10 written exams you had to take. And so I have that designation, as well as several others in the insurance world, AIT, ARE, ASL, I mean, just a whole bunch of them. And the reason why I did that, I actually had more insurance knowledge and background than some of the underwriters and some of the department heads. Reason why I do that is just to, at that point I was really immersing myself in the business so that I knew what the clients, which were the business partners on the insurance side, needed and wanted, and understand their language and really knew their business well. So that's the type of approach that we take when we work with clients. I really learn all about their business. Building the website is pretty much a collaborative effort where, again, I find out all about what they're doing, the reason, the rationale. A lot of times people say, yep, I need a website, and designers or developers will just dive in and boom, they have a website. What a lot of people don't realize is that there are reasons to have the website, right? So when I start talking about, reasons, I'll ask people, why do you want the website? And they're like, well, I need to be online, right? They don't realize that there's several different reasons. Like, do you want to be found and position yourself as the expert in your field? Do you want to, build a community via your website? Do you want to just have it brochure information so that when somebody, you meet them and they give you your card and you go back and forth, they go home, they're going to research you, and you can present all that information to them, as opposed to looking at LinkedIn and Twitter and Facebook and all the other different places. Sometimes it's a combination of all of that. So we take the time to find out about people, what they're really looking to do, what their goals are, and that's the approach to building the website with them. A lot of times people come to us, right, after they have a website, and they go, oh my gosh, my business would take off if I just had more traffic, right? I just want more people to come to my website, more people. And we can certainly do that. But there's always this kind of a rabbit trail of things that we need to look at, right? So if somebody wanted, I could get you, 1,000 views to your website like that. Right? The idea is not just to get traffic, but you want to make sure you're getting qualified traffic. So if I got people from, Europe, let's say, to come to your website, and you are local and that's the only people you work with right now, that means nothing. And so you really want the qualified traffic. So once we get the traffic there, the next thing to look at, you still might not get the sales that you're looking for. And the reason for that is the actual website itself. So again, while it might look nice, there still can be some issues. There are so many websites out there, and I haven't looked at everybody's website here, so if I offend you, I'm sorry about that. You're just out of date, right? You've probably seen websites where you go, whoa, look at that. The 90s want their website back. They called and they want their website back. It's just out of date, right? You look at the copyright date and says, you know what, they haven't updated anything since 2014 or 2013. And that's a good sign that it's, it might be abandoned and you don't even know that. It might be legitimate, but they haven't touched it and it looks like it. So a lot of times I tell people, unfortunately or unfortunately, your website, it's like fashion, right? Fashion always changes. And if you want to stay on top of things, you can tell people who are wearing the shirts from still the 70s or the 80s, or you can see people are up to date. Well, that's kind of the same thing with your website. So again, even when we get all the traffic you need that's qualified and it works, if your website is out of date, it's going to turn people off. Another thing that is still happening out there, which is a surprise, there are still a lot of websites that aren't connected securely, meaning it's not using HTTPS, right? And that stands for security. The browsers today, if somebody's using a regular browser that's up to date, it's going to tell you that your website is not secure. It says it right up there by the address. So you need to make sure that your website is using HTTPS, so it doesn't take people away by somebody shows up thinking, oh my gosh, it's not secure. And really, even if you're not collecting information, even if you're not taking payments on your website, it's the whole perception that people are going to see. Right? Nobody wants to go to a website that says not secure. They're going to kind of just leave right away. So you need to get all the traffic there that's qualified. You need to have a site that looks nice. Then the next step is really going to be collecting people's information, getting them to it might be to ring the phone, right? Make the phone ring. You might want to be collecting information like their name and email address to get that collateral, to start the conversation so you can do email marketing. It's all these kind of things that if people just kind of put up a website, it's not going to work for them, right? There's strategies in place to do that. And one last thing with the website is if you think of kind of a wagon wheel, right, where your website is at the hub in the middle, and then all the spokes that are going out, those would be the different social media sites or different websites that have links to you. The idea is that all your social media should actually just tickle people's imagination, give them a little bit of information, and then you send them back to your website. So when you tweet something out, you should always have a link back to your website. When you post on Facebook, it should always go back to your website, because that's where really they can get all the information about you that they need. They can get all the details. And once they're on your website, obviously you can have the offers, you can make the connections, and you can do all that. So that's what we help people with.
Excellent, Paul. I knew I didn't want to interrupt you with a barrage of set questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I knew that giving you a softball would let you run through, and you covered pretty much anything I could have asked. So that was wonderful. A great job there. And any questions for anyone? Does anyone have questions for Paul at this point?
So Paul, I just have a question.
Yeah.
How is it that you get the qualified, folks? How do you get that better traffic?
Great. So that's kind of the $1 million question, right? When you get traffic, how do you get qualified? So there's different ways that can be done. I could talk about traffic for hours, right? But basically there's two types of traffic. There's free traffic, and then there's paid traffic where you're, think Facebook ads or Google, etc. With the paid traffic, it's really easy to laser target people with the demographics that you're looking for. Right, so that's what I consider to be qualified traffic. And that could be by so many different attributes or characteristics, right? Geography being one of them, age being another, disposable income, things that they like, people that they follow, all that kind of stuff. Then the other way with, is that me feedbacking?
Not sure.
The other way with the free kind of stuff on social media, a lot of times you are already attracting your ideal client through your social media. Maybe not, right? It all depends. But there are certain things that you can do in the wording of the copy of the ad to bring people in. Good copy or good advertising does two things. Not only does it attract the right people, but it also repels the wrong people. So it's working with that message to kind of get the right people in and keep the wrong people out. That's my short minute answer.
A great point, Paul. And I think people underestimate the value of that, of having the wrong people not waste your time, and the value of your time when it all comes down to that. So I think that's a wonderful point. Any other questions or anything for Paul at this point?
Yeah, Paul.
Yes, yes.
Jonas here. I have an extremely focused target market.
You do, yeah.
Yeah, commercial contractors in the central, basically in Jersey, Western P or Eastern PA market in New York. It's like when I think about my marketing, it's kind of a narrow. It's so narrow. I'm kind of curious if you had if you've worked with people like that before.
Yeah, so the whole idea is when people go searching, we have something there's known as keyword phrases, right? What are they typing in, or what do you want when they type it in? What do you want to be found for?
Okay.
So the longer that phrase that you optimize either the ads or your website pages for, the more inclined to get people there, right? So I'll give you a quick example. If somebody, I worked with a client that restored classic cars, and and I said, well, great. What do you want to be found for? And he said, well, classic cars. I want to optimize my site so it's classic cars. I go, well, wait. Think about this. When somebody searches for classic cars, that is such a broad spectrum, right? Do they want to buy them? Do they want to go to the shows? Do they want to get parts for it? Versus if somebody's searching for 59 Chevy carburetor, there's a good chance that that's somebody who wants to buy it because they're doing the restoration work, right? So kind of figuring these things out is the optimization process is really kind of where you hone that in. Now, in your case, I think you're actually a little bit lucky because when somebody's searching for garage doors, right, or commercial doors, chances are they're not really the person who's just kicking tires, right, as much as they're really looking, they have a desire to reach out to somebody. So you're being focused like that is actually beneficial to you. It's just a matter of honing that so that you really get the traffic that you want.
Okay.
Just one quick story about that. If you want, and don't do this now, wait after the meeting. I had a client, long story short, if you search for best lawn care service in Somerville, New Jersey, you're going to come up to a page. So there's, the ads, the paid ads, ignore those. And then in the top 3 or 4 results, you're going to come to my website. That has absolutely nothing to do with lawn care, has nothing to do with it, but I put one page up there as an example to show that when you have the right optimization, you can really get on the first page of Google in the top 5 all the time.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, that was a fun little example.
That was a good one. Thank you very much, Paul.
Very good. So now